Welcome to Podheim, Jiroc's Valheim podcast. Let's give him the business.
Hey everybody, today is February 23rd, 2022. I'm your host, Jiroc the Viking, and joining me today are my fellow Vikings, Viking Rudy, Rudistic the Guardian.
Cal Vikings.
And Viking Urkinus.
Howdo-do.
Gwen and Thorn are unavailable to give you the business this week, but that's okay. We'll be talking to Luma, one of the developers over at Iron Gate. We have a really exciting interview with him, so let's go to that now. Okay, so today we have Luma, one of the developers over at Iron Gate, working on Valheim so hard for us. So we have all this fun stuff to do in our leisure time. Luma, can you tell us where in the world you're from, maybe where you grew up? How did you get into the industry of gaming?
Yeah, sure. First off, thanks for having me, Jiroc.
Yeah.
I was very honored to get the question. But yeah, sure, we jump right into it. I'm from Sweden, as everyone at Iron Gate are, at the moment at least. Born and raised in the southern part of Sweden, a little place called Småland. And we have this kind of funny Swedish accent as well. People like to make a lot of fun of it, I think. It's one of the few ones to poke at.
I like accents myself. I don't know. I love... Like even in the US here, people say, I can do an American accent. And I think to myself, wow, we have so many different accents in America. Which one are you going to do? But then I love hearing people's accents from around the world, especially most people that's like their second language. And I'm still getting better at the only language I speak. So if you speak English even a little bit, I'm always amazed.
Oh, that's nice. But yeah, industry-wise, wow. I studied at university as soon as I could. Here in Sweden, it's actually free, more or less. You don't actually have to pay to go to uni, which is awesome.
One of those countries, where they give out free education.
Yeah.
Whose idea was that?
Money. I don't know, but it was a really good idea.
I think it's a good idea. I wish we would adopt it.
Yeah.
So what did you study in school?
So I was actually studying technical artist in game design, I think it was called, to be exact. So that was a lot of programming, scripting, 3D modeling, animation, that kind of things. That's
a little bit of everything. So you actually did do programming as well as the 3D modeling.
Yeah, I did. And I guess that had both pros and cons because I was studying it for 3 years. And when we started it, you're kind of all over the place. So I know a little bit of coding, a little bit of 3D art, a little bit of animation, a little bit of scripting. And then there are the other ones who are studying programming for 3 years. So they become really good at something. Meanwhile, I became okay at a lot of different stuff. Yeah, so that's good and bad, I guess.
But it sounds like in the film industry, I sort of started in the same way. I've been a filmmaker for about 25 years now, and I loved sort of every aspect of filmmaking. So I learned everything about it, like, writing screenplays to, producing a project, which is basically event organization. And then, how to shoot it, the cinematography, the directing, working with actors, working with production design to create the sets and the costumes and all that. And then once all that's done, the video editing. And I even dabbled a little bit with Blender and did some, 3D modeling and texturing and animation for a couple of my projects. Of course, I was terrible at it. And watching Grimcore the other day on Twitch, I'm thinking, wow, it would have taken me 2 weeks to do what he did in an hour.
I know, I can relate to that as well. When you see someone else who's really good at what they're doing, you're like, oh man, I don't know how to do it that fast.
So when you got out of college, where did you go before? I mean, obviously you had some things you did before you ended up at Iron Gate. So where were those places that you found yourself in between college and Iron Gate?
Sure. I mean, I guess it's a little bit of it's not a weird story. It's kind of a boring story, I guess. But I finished at university. As I finished, I kind of realized it's really difficult to get into the industry, especially when you don't have any experience whatsoever. So then I kind of realized that finding a junior position in Sweden is very difficult, which was kind of a bummer. But at the same time, I was also working as a volunteer in the League of Legends forums.
Oh, okay.
And so I've started to think like, okay, if I can't get into the video game industry now, what else would I like to do? Always been a fan of helping people out, doing like tech support stuff and all that thing. So I was applying to video game jobs or gaming jobs in the gaming industry, but got denied. I think I was trying for like a year doing my projects as well to try to build a portfolio. That failed. So after a year, I kind of realized, okay, I need to do something else because I really want to get a job at least. So I applied as a customer support at Netflix to start off with.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So to make a long story short, I moved to Amsterdam, worked at Netflix for a year in customer support and tech support. Then I was kind of done with that. Went back to Sweden, didn't have a job. And then I was looking at jobs in Sweden and found another customer support role at some kind of a gaming industry company. They didn't say what company it was.
Is it the one I'm thinking of?
Probably.
It's the one everyone knows you for before Iron Gate?
Yes.
Tell us about that blocky game.
Yes, the little game called Minecraft.
Yeah, that little game Minecraft. So
yeah,
what did you do for them over there?
So I applied for that job, and it was a customer support job as well. Only replying to email, thank God.
Yeah.
So I was a customer support there for a year or so-ish. Really cool place to work at. The people at Mojang, they are awesome. So I had a lot of fun there.
Are they headquarters in Sweden? The Mojang? I don't know exactly where they're headquarters.
They have the main or headquarters are in Stockholm, and then they have another office in Redmond, Washington.
Oh, okay.
But that's kind of how I got into the gaming industry. So I worked in the customer support there for 1 or 2 years-ish. And then things kind of went a little bit, I don't know how to put it, but they kind of had to reorganize a little bit within the company. So the support team had to leave. A lot of people were left off, they have to go in the support team. It was a really sad time for a lot of people there.
Oh.
But my mentor or my team leader, Anna, she's called, she was really fond of me, of everyone, but she knew that I had some like knowledge of game development as well. So she kind of tried to poke people and say like, hey, this guy is pretty good at what he's doing. Don't we have like another position for him? And so eventually I ended up in a team called the content team instead of the support team.
Oh, what did they do there?
We were the ones who were curating all the things that people wanted to upload to the Minecraft marketplace, more or less.
Oh, okay. Oh, so were you a player of Minecraft? Like, was that the kind of game that you enjoyed playing yourself?
I mean, I've been playing Minecraft a little bit on and off ever since it was released in 2011.
It sounds like League of Legends might have been more your kind of game, because if you were...
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play it religiously ever, but I mean, it is, and it was a fun game.
So which game do you play religiously, since you say that? Like, everybody's got a game or a style of game that they just absolutely love playing. So what's yours?
I mean, right now, I don't think I have any, but before it was Counter-Strike.
Ooh, yeah, me too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I used to compete with a team. Yeah, I'm dating myself, but we were in what was the league called? CPL? I had to have to look.
Really?
Yeah, we competed at CPL. We got up a couple of tiers in that too before our team finally broke up, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's really cool. Was it 1.6 then? Yeah.
Yes, it was the old, before Source. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
OG.
Yeah.
I actually played Counter-Strike in its very first iteration too, when Half-Life came out, and then it just kind of became this little like modified version of Half-Life. I remember playing that and then watching it grow over the years. So yeah, that was sort of the one thing that I'd end up spending, 6, 8, 10 hours a day playing instead of taking care of the things in life that I should have been back in the day.
I may have done something similar.
Yeah, gamers know that, right? Like, you just get hooked on a game and you can sit there for hours playing.
Yeah, but yeah, that's probably the game I've been playing the most.
Do you still play Counter-Strike today?
No, I played the old 1.6, and then I played a lot of Global Offensive
Oh,
when
yeah,
that came out. But yeah, then I went over to Rocket League. I have way too many hours in that game as well.
Nice.
But yeah, I guess always like PvP games have always been up my alley.
Yeah, so what was the path to Iron Gate then from where you were with Mojang?
Yeah, so there was some internal reorganization with the support team first, and then I went to the content team, and then after a year or so, it was some more reorganization, and I felt like I was kind of done with. I liked my job, but I felt like I kind of want to do something else now. And so randomly and luckily, we have this small Facebook group in Sweden where game students and game developers can post if they have a position and they're looking for people to hire, they can post in that Facebook group. And so Henrik, one of the co-founders of Iron Gate, next to Richard, posted and said, we really need help due to this huge success that we're currently having with the game. I was back in April last year, I think. So I applied, and here I am.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you know if there was something that they that tipped into your favor, that they decided to go with you over the other applicants? They must have had several people who were interested.
Yeah, I think a lot of people applied to it, but I think why I got the job was because customer and tech support is really good when you need to communicate a lot with players and internally. Like you need to know how to phrase yourself in a good way always.
Yeah.
And then also a new Jira. We used that at Mojang to track bugs as well. And I was helping a little bit with confirming bugs. And when I was in that content team where we were curating all that content on the marketplace, we also wrote a bunch of feedback to people, and it was more or less a QA position there as well. So I think that was in my favor. I think we also just really clicked when I had my interview with Henrik and Richard. We were on the same level. Yeah,
that's what a lot of jobs seem to end up. You have the skills and some of the experience, but you really have to sort of click with the personalities, because these are people you're working with, all the time, and so that's always handy. So what do you do at Iron Gate now then?
So my title is QA manager. So what I do is, alongside Smithe as well, he's helping us a lot with the QA stuff. But I do track the bug tracker that we have, making sure that we squash the necessary bugs before we push updates to the game.
Right.
And it's a lot of play testing internally and just checking things, getting poked quite often to do some sanity checks before we do stuff, etc. So yeah, it's a lot of checking the forums, looking at what people are saying, what people are reporting, reproducing bugs, all of it, I guess.
I mean, you probably do some of your own testing, but there's no way that you guys can do as much testing as thousands or tens of thousands of players who are on Discord reporting them and the forums and whatnot. So you probably have to are spending a lot of time there to try to pick up on the things that people are finding, and then bringing that to the team and saying, people are reporting this. Is it something we want to address?
Yes, that's that's pretty much my daily work as well, especially now when we're getting close to Cave release. Even you are active reporting stuff, Jiroc, which we appreciate. But yeah, that's my job to note it down and then poke the correct person within the team and ask them to fix stuff.
So this is a question for you directly from me, because I reported this. Did the team remove beards because I posted it on there, or were there a lot of people mentioning that?
I think actually a few threads on the Steam forum popped up as well, and I poked Richard, I think, about it, and we was like, yeah, it looks bad, and they fixed it.
Well, it's awesome when you have a community that can give you that all that feedback and find things that you guys have missed, because you're only a few people on the team, but thousands of people. So yeah, having people like yourself who can filter through all that and bring it to their attention is pretty awesome. So a little off of topic, we'd like to learn a little bit more about you. If any of these questions sound interesting and you feel like answering, Rudy has a bunch of questions, but before he gets to his, I have one for you. So on our podcast, I always like to ask people where they got their gaming name or their sort of public persona name. Like for me, Jiroc, I explained that in one of my previous podcasts. It came from a short Viking story I wrote more than 25 years ago when I was in the military. So we were wondering, where does the name Luma come from? How did you land on that name as your name to use for the public?
Oh man, I wish it was a epic story, like a background story, but it's not. I don't really know. I think do any of you play Nintendo games? I think there's one, like a star called Luna, or is it even Luma?
I don't. I haven't played Nintendo games since the original Nintendo console, because after that I went to PC games and never looked back.
Okay. But I think it's pretty much from that. And when I was playing World of Warcraft with a friend of mine back in the days, I created my character named Luma, and for some reason we had this. It wasn't even a joke, but we kept saying, "Oh my God, it's Luma," and people kind of catched on to that, saying that, even though I was a nobody. It was like, "Oh my God, it's you," but I was no one. I guess it just kind of stuck there then.
So I looked it up while you were talking, and on the Nintendo wiki, it says Luma, also referred to as Apricot Luma, Baby Luma, Little Luma, and Young Master Luma, is a major character in the games Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. Does that sound familiar?
Maybe. Is it the little star?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a little star with big eyes.
Yeah. But I probably just stole it from there.
Oh, okay. So other people were calling you that, and you decided to keep it.
Yeah.
You're not no little star anymore. I would say you're a big star now.
No.
Well, when people love a game as much as Valheim, and obviously the success it's had, the people involved with the game at every level, we definitely appreciate all of the efforts that you put in, and the time that you take, like this right here, doing this podcast, or like when you're hanging out with gaming with Christy or something, right? Like that's pretty much on your free time, right? Like you're not on the clock, you're not in the office right now. At least I don't think you are.
Yeah, no, I'm at home. It's 9:30 p.m. right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep you up late, so you're tired in the morning.
Yeah, all good. I'm not tired, so we can go for hours if you want to.
So you can blame us if in the next patch there are so many bugs because you were too tired to test in the morning.
Forgot to note them all down.
So Rudy, you have some questions. You want to ask a few of those?
I do have a few Valheim questions, but like I said, I was trying to think of some off the hook questions for ya. One that's I really need the answer to. What kind of snacks do they keep on hand in the Iron Gate offices?
Oh man. How should I answer that?
Too many. More
Nothing?
healthy snacks, right?
The problem is that we all love like candy and sweet stuff, especially me and Lisa. I think we're the cookie monsters of at the office. So we have been buying quite a lot of like chocolate.
Hey, there's
just
nothing wrong
candy
with
in
that.
general. No, but the problem is when we buy it, it's like a huge bucket of candy.
Yes.
And you think like, oh, this should last for a couple of weeks.
And it doesn't.
But no, it's gone very quick.
Well, it sounds like other people are dipping into it too then.
Yeah, no.
No, just you and Lisa?
Pretty much. And Monty as well, sometimes Josephine. But it's bad. It's really bad.
Well, yeah, trying to eat healthy is always it's a bit of a chore, especially when the temptations are around.
Yeah, I think we need help.
Well, Luma the Cookie Monster. Rudy, what else you got for him?
How do you take your coffee? If you drink coffee in the mornings, what do you take in it? How do you take your coffee?
Oh, I take it with a little bit of milk.
No sugar, huh? Or no sweetener?
No sugar.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I like my coffee nice and dark and unsweetened myself. And I might put a little, shall we say, strong creamer in it that comes from Ireland,
Oh, that sounds nice.
if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, now I get it. Yes.
This is a family show, so.
And also, you mentioned Facebook a bit earlier, and I really enjoy your Twitter presence. So, what do you prefer, Twitter or Facebook?
Oh, wow. I guess I'll have to say Twitter because I only use Facebook to chat with friends and family.
I've tried using Facebook for like advertising and or like creating communities around Valheim and other things. And Facebook just doesn't seem like the best place for that. Facebook seems more like a better place for just, keeping in touch with friends and family. But Twitter seems to be the place where people go to more look for information on what's going on with their subjects that they're interested in, like Valheim. What about Instagram? Like Instagram doesn't seem to be that popular either. I know I see you guys have an Instagram and you guys post on it, but it doesn't seem like it gets as much traffic as Twitter, maybe?
I think for the community managers, Instagram is really good actually for us.
Oh, okay.
Does get a lot of likes and comments. But personally, I mean, I do have Instagram, but I never post. I just watch cute pics of cats.
Don't we all? Aren't cats just the best? They do all kinds of crazy and fun things.
Yeah.
And one more non-Valheim question. You mentioned Nintendo earlier. So talk about console gaming, PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo. What does Luma intend to go for?
Oh, wow. I mean, when I grew up, I played Sega at my grandparents' house before I got my own stuff. And my first, what's it called? I'm losing console. Was the PlayStation 1. So I think I have to go with PlayStation because I only played PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, and then I went over to PC.
Mm.
And what games did you play? Was it like Spyro or stuff like that? Or what kind of games were you playing?
Yeah, Spyro, Worms, Guitar Hero. That game is so good.
Oh, Worms. That's a flashback. I got goosebumps as soon as you said that. Wow, I haven't played that one in so long.
Armageddon was so good.
Yeah, I was a big Spyro guy myself.
Yeah, that game is fantastic as well.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about. I feel so old.
Spyro, the little purple dragon?
No, I don't. I've never played those. First Nintendo console and then PC games for me.
So here's one of my Valheim questions for you, Luma. A few weeks ago, we had a great interview with Patrick, the composer of the soundtrack. And all of us answered the question, what our favorite songs are from the Valheim soundtrack. So I'm curious to hear what your selection would be. What's your favorite song from the Valheim soundtrack?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I would have to say the sailing. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, so many people, a couple of folks from our podcast mentioned that one too, the sailing music.
Yes.
Yeah, that one, it's very relaxing, isn't it?
It is. And I think it really sticks and hits as well when you hear it for the very first time, when you go out on the ocean and that music starts to kick in. I don't know. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I said last time, it's awesome until a serpent comes in and ruins everything for you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Forgot about that.
Yeah. Patrick had mentioned that if it were in the cards in the future, he'd love to do music specific for the serpent fights, because that encounter, it's a little paradoxical to have like this nice, calm sailing music, and then you're being, murdered by a sea serpent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite parts of the game is when you fight the Forsaken, how the atmosphere changes and the lighting, and then you've got very specific music, and I just remember getting the goosebumps, the first time I did each of the boss fights because of that, and the music and the look of the game changes, and so yeah, having a music that plays specific for serpent encounters would definitely be amazing. But
Yeah.
all
that would be
things in
really
time,
cool.
right?
Yeah. I mean, never say never. I think that would be very cool as well.
Yeah. The game's early. It's young and a lot of cool things in the future. And who knows?
For sure. Yeah.
And we had a quick chat with Smitha, I think it was last week, and he said that you're one of the best parkour runners in Valheim. So that made me question, well, who's the best Valheim player at the Iron Gate offices?
Oh, the I just have to start off with first. I don't know why that's kind of a rumor that I'm the best parkour player. I don't know
How
where
did that
comes
rumor
from.
get started?
I don't know. We had similar banters at Mojang about who's the best parkour runner there. I don't know why that's a thing. But sure, I'll be the best parkour player at Iron Gate. So who's the best player then?
By whatever criteria you label the best player.
The one who would die
The least?
yes.
If you're a YouTuber and you die a lot, then that makes you the best player because that's more entertaining.
That's true. I would crown Robin as the best.
Oh, okay.
Grimcore, yeah.
He's got that good hand-eye coordination and combat ability and survival ability.
Yes, and he's a master of dodge roll, so yeah.
Oh, yeah. The dodge rolls, super handy.
Yeah.
My favorite part for sure in the battle aspect of the game. And if you ever want to test it out, your parkour skills, we do have a beautiful parkour course on Jiroc's Viking Playground server. So if you ever want to test your chops, come on down.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Sign me up.
Yeah, I'm thinking. So I was going to run it this Saturday, but somebody else has an event going on, so I might do it in the next Saturday or two. But I'll send you a text because we have a parkour course, and I'm going to modify it a little bit and then have a race. We have 2 or 3 people who are just absolutely awesome at it, and then it's fun. It's interesting seeing all the different like levels of play and what people like they get out of Valheim. Like some people like to do combat, some people like to build, some people only like to decorate, and then there's all kinds of other things. But it's interesting to see some players, they got up onto the parkour course and they couldn't get past like the first 5 or 10% of it. They just kept falling off. And then certain players, they just bounce across the whole thing like nonstop. It's you can obviously see who has like that quick hand-eye coordination down.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
So I got one more quick question there for you, Luma. With how big Valheim is and how big it's growing every day, really, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years from now?
Oh, wow. That feels like a typical interview question. I should have prepared. I'm still at Iron Gate, probably doing QA stuff.
On Valheim 2.0? Well, that's 10 years, really, right? Cool. Like you could throw out any kind of weird thing. Maybe it's Valheim 3.0.
Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome. I guess Valheim will be very much done. I'm not sure how the future looks like after 1.1 release, but yeah, I will be on Iron Gate doing cool stuff still.
So this is a question that you might not be able to answer, and that's absolutely fine. I don't want, spoilers aren't the thing that I ever ask anybody, because obviously I understand all the NDAs and all that stuff. And I don't want to know spoilers either. I like to get them when they come, but I'm assuming that Iron Gate, Richard and Hendrik, that their focus is Valheim now. Are there any rumors of like other games that they may dream of doing in like 5 to 10 years, or like, is there any of that chatter ever going on?
Yeah, there are, like, people like to talk about what they would like to do next. And yeah, there are a lot of different ideas. I don't know what we will go for after Valheim, but there are plenty of ideas out there. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens after that.
Yeah. And I know Richard originally wanted to make a space game, and it turned into Valheim, which is great for us. I mean, I would have loved a space game too, but a Viking game. I was so like anxious for a good Viking survival game. It's actually how I found Valheim is I was playing games like Minecraft and 7 Days to Die and a few other games, but I love the survival genre. And I just one day, just out of the blue, I just typed in Viking survival game to see if one existed. And I found Valheim and applied for the beta and got into the beta, and then the rest is history. But yeah, so they definitely, I think, filled a niche that was missing.
Yeah, for sure.
So Urkinus, why don't you tell Luma just a little bit about what you do, and because that's going to relate to the questions that you have for him.
Yeah, so as the last question was very like interview-like, my questions to you are as like from one QA to another, because this is what I also do. I'm a QA and a tester myself. But my resume is way more, let's say, smaller, pathetic compared to yours.
No, I don't think so. I can imagine it looks good.
Yeah, so actually, things that I'm interested in is you work a lot with the community, and you have like, over 5,000 public testers. How do you decide what bug is like major or critical for you and should be fixed in the next patch, and what is left for the future?
So, like, the most critical ones are the ones where, like, if people crashing, obviously, if the game crashes, that's a code red.
That's blocked.
But then for a public test, they should always be quite stable. But the things we really want to fix, for example, with Hearth and Home, we did have these iron grates, like 1x1 pieces. And we did have an issue with those. So people could build with them for like a week before we actually realized that they never stopped supporting, for example. So people could build towers way higher than intended. And I mean, that's cool, but it was not intended. That's kind of when we feel like, okay, we need to fix this ASAP, because people will build this and use this broken mechanic. And when we fix it, their buildings will fall apart.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of feeling as well. There are a lot of people reporting a little bit like, here's a small hole, but can you go through it? Can items fall through it? Or is it just visually somewhat disturbing? So you kind of have to draw the line somewhere. But we do actually write almost all of the reports up that we see come in. And then we kind of have a quick chat with Richard or Jonathan or Eric, the Dungeon Master, to see what they say about it as well. So it's not only my decision, but I also have like a good dialogue and communication with the rest of the team.
I can imagine how big the backlog on this project can be.
Yeah.
How many interesting stuff there actually are in the backlog that are, as you know the saying, it goes like, if you document it, it's not a bug, it's a feature.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I have a related question, Luma. So it's one I've pondered, myself, not just with Valheim, but other games as well. But Valheim, I'm sure they have their sort of specific culture and the way they like to do things. And this is good for other players to know. If a player finds a bug, there's a lot of different places they could say it. They could go to YouTube and mention in the comments, like they come to my YouTube channel and mention into my comments something they want you to know about the game that they think is broken. And I think to myself, I'm not a developer. Well, I don't know why you're posting this on my comments. But so between Discord and the forums and, Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and everywhere, what is really the best place, like that's the most efficient for you to help organize this feedback that comes in? Where should we as players go to officially like report something that will be easiest for you guys to manage?
It's a really good question as well, because it kind of depends on the bug or problem that the player is encountering. In general, I would say the bug tracker that we have right now is the best place to go. It's the feature upvote. More often than not, we actually need to have a discussion with the player, like how they're not really that good at always explaining how it happened or what happened.
Right.
To say something broke, then we need to know what broke, how did it break, when, can you replicate it? So that's when I really prefer to have Discord to chat with them one-on-one.
Yeah, I remember the other day you asked me and one of the other folks on there the question about the one thing we reported in the public test branch for the Frost Caves.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because if we use the bug tracker right now, then we post a reply and they get an email notification and they may get back to us next day. Kind of slows the whole process down, and maybe they just don't bother suddenly to reply at all. I think like having a one-on-one chat is actually the best on Discord.
Yeah. I figured you guys are, especially a few of you, are pretty active on Discord, and you still seem to be able to manage the tens of thousands of players that are on there. But when it comes to the public test branch in that channel that you guys have, you're not dealing with the entire community. You're just dealing with the people who are actually taking the time to load the public test branch and then give feedback. So it's probably a much more manageable community because it's a smaller community.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a lot of scrolling, but we see it all, we read it all. But I mostly just lurk in those channels. Smith is probably better at communicating with people, but I jump in every now and then as well.
What else you got for him, Erkinis?
Yeah, so we already touched a little bit about exploiting the game, and we do have one player in particular, Kondo, in our community, who is like a master in exploits. And there is something like the spawners, grade of spawners, if you dug into the ground and 6 meters, and the spawner is 6 meters up, it boosts the rates. How do you feel about players exploiting the game mechanics? Because there could be like very crazy thing. I know it's not as much as in Minecraft, but still Valheim is still, there is so much for us players to learn and to exploit.
Yeah, I mean, the Grey Dwarf spawners or Grey Dwarf farms in particular, we're not really concerned about that. I mean, if someone wants to create a farm like that, we're pretty much fine with it, I would say. It's not really game breaking. I know we did some changes to how animals behave, like the tamed animals. I remember people were doing farms with those as well, still do.
Yeah, he's a master with farms also.
Yeah. I think we tried to stop that a little bit a few months back. I think people made like these towers with the boars. It was just weird. It looked weird. Then we were like, no, we need to fix it a little bit at least, because it looked like a slaughterhouse almost. But in general, I mean, I know the people who are speedrunning the game, for example, use a lot of exploits.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really mind most of those things, I would say. I've seen one with the silver vein that you can kind of like mine the whole thing if you hit it at the exact right place. Have you guys seen that one as well?
Where it breaks, the whole thing breaks apart?
Yeah, if you hit it like once, it all just breaks. Maybe you do it too.
It has to be. Yeah. It has to be completely dug out, though, right?
No, I think it's. I don't know how that one works, but I've seen some weird stuff, and we will probably fix that in the future.
Oh,
we have to go to the mountains and start digging to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting how some quirky game mechanics can become beloved by the community, and then I'm guessing you guys probably don't want to remove those ones, like the signs with the text that floats off the signs. Like I think it looks absolutely ridiculous myself, but people just love it. So I guess you leave it.
Yeah, I don't think we'll touch that one unless it starts to break the game for whatever reason. But no.
So what about using the chair to clip into anything you want, like whether it be the crypt gate or clip into a boulder in the plains so the plains creatures can't attack you, or clip into a tree and hang out inside the tree? Like I made videos on those just because it was so fun. But is that like the clipping with the chairs? Is that something that's been addressed or thought about?
I think we all been thinking about it. And I remember I saw your video on it as well. I think it was in plains, those huge rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can fight Yagloth from inside one of the fingers, and he never knows you're there. So you could just, with a bow and arrow, you could just shoot him all day.
Yeah. I don't think those will be fixed in the near future, at least. We're really not concerned about those either, I would say, because those exploits are like, if you want to play the game like that, like it's not meant to be played like that, but if you really want to cheese the game or whatever, then sure, go ahead and do that. As long as it doesn't break the game or break the progression like in a really bad way,
yeah,
then I don't think we'll be fixing those actually.
Yeah, I always just found them more of like a curiosity than anything.
Yeah.
For myself, I really love I've been playing like tabletop role playing games ever since I was like 8 or 9 years old. So it's like 40 years. But so I love immersion, and so I don't play the games like that myself. But I'll make a video about it as a curiosity. But yeah, I don't play it that way. It's because it's not fun, right? Like the boss fight is no longer fun if it can't fight back.
Yeah. No, what's the point then? Kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much our stand on it.
Sorry if the next question makes you feel like you're still working in the evening, but
No.
in my experience, this question usually gives me very interesting answers. Let's take a situation and you can say, how would you handle it? For example, if developer introduces you with an error or bug in the code after the QA testing has already been taken place, how would you approach this situation?
Wait, if a developer... Sorry, could you repeat it?
Yes, so if a developer... if a developer introduces you with an error or a bug in the code after QA testing has taken place. This is a tough one, I know.
Yeah. So wait, I'm just trying to understand that I get this correctly. So it passes QA and then it comes up as an error.
Yeah, exactly.
And did another developer reports it, or?
Yeah. For example, if a developer reports it, or it's already like pushed to production or pushed to.
Okay. Yeah. No, actually, I think I'm really fortunate that we are such a small team. So if that happens, we can just poke one another really quick and say like, we missed that, and people go, oh crap. Yeah, we'll have to solve that one, and we solve it really, really quickly. So it's not really a big deal, but we usually just have a quick communication internally.
Yeah, it's a benefit of working with a small team. I know
it is. Yes,
if you have like 100 developers, then the one who is finding it, the QA, usually they're running like crazy and waiting and waiting till it goes through multiple persons and multiple developers. Before it actually gets fixed. So you're lucky in that sense.
I really am. And I guess it all kind of depends on how critical it is. If it really needs to be fixed, I mean, then of course we poke one another to fix it ASAP if something is missed. Otherwise, we just write it down, and the person who can fix it will probably check at it early morning or whatever. So
yeah, I promise my next 2 questions are easier. Is there something you would like to bring over from Minecraft? I mean, from the game, something you really, really liked there. People have been comparing Valheim to Minecraft a lot, so maybe something you think could be brought over.
I mean, just personally, what I would love to have.
Yeah, personally, yeah.
I mean, some kind of a glider would be awesome.
Oh, I'm leaning towards redstone stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the redstone definitely, especially when you get late game in Minecraft, redstone sort of opens up this whole other world of challenge and puzzle solving that you can do, which is sort of what I'm trying to do running a Valheim server with over 130 people, is trying to figure out, because everybody's killed Yagloth, so what are they doing now? So we're trying, we're all constantly trying to create new content for them. Valheim it's such a great template for an admin to run a game like a dungeon master, like for Dungeons and Dragons or something. Now, you guys don't have many tools for us, but that's fine because the modder community is so big. It's 10 or 100 times bigger than the team over there at Iron Gate. So, of course, they can introduce all this other weird little programming for mods. But having something like that, I mean, obviously, Valheim has to get into its 1.0 to, the vision of the game for release before you guys start thinking about all that crazy future stuff of how can we prolong the game if you guys even want to prolong it. And because I remember they kept saying, well, the game will end. And when it ends, if you're done with it, you go play something else.
Yeah.
But our players, they're done, at least with the current content until you guys release new content. But we're finding ways with the help of mods to create new content for them, kind of like Redstone might be for Minecraft and whatnot. And Minecraft too, they have like the same thing, right? They have servers and all these programmers who make Minecraft basically way different than it is out of the box for the single player person, right? Like there's so many different things. And I feel like with the help of modders, I'm kind of starting to do that with Valheim a little bit, is kind of unwrap it a little bit from its box and with the help of modding to add new content. And it's fun. It's super fun.
You mentioned glider. I know you mentioned it's a personal preference, but hey guys, is it like a sneak peek that we can in future ride drakes?
Ride drakes?
Write it down. You heard it,
the small hatchlings.
Yeah.
That's going to be the thumbnail. Luma wants gliders. But then when you click in the video, it says he just wants gliders from Minecraft.
You have to eat End Dragon first.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have it up in the tree, Yggdrasil.
I was talking to Smithy, and he was, reading some of the comments from Discord, because I guess that new little flying bug thing, I think it's called a seeker. I guess some people were saying, I hope we can ride it. And I think Smithy said, well, why do Vikings need boats then if they can just fly on a bug through the sky? Like, I'm a Viking. I want to ride my boat. I don't want to fly.
Yeah, that's true.
But a glider might be fun because you're not flying. You're just gliding a little short distance.
Yeah, I mean, imagine going up in the mountains, gathering your silver, and then when you feel like I'm done or you're getting raided by wolves or whatever, you just hop off, fly away.
Yeah, that's what I do in Minecraft. You just jump off the mountain and glide. And then what is it? You launch a firework or something, and that prolongs your gliding a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a few years since I've played Minecraft, but
that's the way. Yes.
Last question from me is: what's your favorite or most interesting part of your day in the office?
Oh, most interesting.
It's the chocolate, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't say raiding the chocolate stash.
No, damn it.
The second most interesting thing, then.
Second. I think the most interesting is to kind of get a sneak peek daily on what other people are working on at Iron Gate.
You mean drakes? Flying drakes? We can fly drakes?
No.
He just means in general. That's got to definitely be exciting.
Yeah, I think that's really exciting to see what Robin is up to, and Lisa and Richard. Doing QA stuff, trying to replicate stuff on a daily basis, you see the same thing over and over again. So it's kind of exciting to go into their office a little bit and see, what are you guys doing today? And they're doing something very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. Yeah,
getting a sneak peek behind what's going on.
Yeah.
It's always can be fun, I'm sure. Of course, in a way, like if you're a fan of the game and you play it in your free time, it spoils it a little bit for you, but it's also it's fun to see how it's made behind the curtain.
Yeah, for sure. I guess it's both a win and a loss personally, because I really loved playing Valheim when it came out. But now that magic is kind of gone because I know what's coming. And I played so much. So when we released Abomination, for example, I was so tired of the abomination when everyone else was hyped and happy about it.
Oh, what an amazing creature too. I think that it's my favorite creature in the game.
Oh yeah?
I love a lot of them, but my goodness, like when you're underneath that thing and I don't know who came up with the idea to take the tree trunk, flip it upside down and make its roots its legs as it flips upside down and then stop the ground as it comes after you. I think it's just an original idea. And that thing is it's terrifying if you're low, if you're not at the end game gear yet, but it's also spectacular to watch it as it emerges from the ground. It's like, as an artist myself, I just like when I see that, I think, wow, that is a unique thing. It's so fun to watch it.
Yeah, the animations are really good on that one.
Yeah.
I don't know who came up with it. I guess it was a combination of Grimcore, Eric, and Richard, because there's this kind of like folklore, I guess, kind of like a myth here in Sweden and Norway, I think, about those. What are they called in English? Like tree. When a tree falls over, there's kind of this at the end of it. I don't know. Help me, guys.
We call that the tree stump that's left in the ground after you cut it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if it falls over, it kind of pulls up a little bit of dirt or the ground as well. Do you call it something else then?
No, I mean a fallen log, and you'll see the roots sometimes if like it rips the roots out of the ground. What is the folklore? I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah. So basically, at least what people said many years ago was kind of they scared children or people in general that they shouldn't go out in the woods because that tree stub could eat you, was kind of a saying.
Oh.
And I think that's kind of how the whole abomination thing came to life.
Does it have a name?
In Swedish, it is rotvälta.
Rotvälta. Do you know what that translates to?
No, I can Google it. Roots overturning.
Oh, there you go. That's kind of what it sounds like what you said.
Yeah.
Rotvälta.
Yeah.
Root overturning.
You got it.
That's interesting. I did not know that. I mean, I get a sense that a lot of the things that are added to Valheim are sort of pulled from little bits of mythology and lore here and there. And then, maybe some of it's just out of the minds of the creative, people over there. But
that's very cool to learn today. That's neat.
Now that the mountain or the frost caves, I should say, are basically out in the public for testing, was there something about those that like you saw that most excited you when you were getting your sneak peek behind the curtain?
Yeah, I think it was, as a lot of people have said already in feedback, but how big they feel compared to the other dungeons that we have.
Oh yeah, I have been saying that forever. That I don't have many gripes, and it's not even a gripe because it was a small game and they made this beautiful thing, and it'll expand over time. But I always just a third person camera in those really claustrophobic dungeon burial chambers and sunken crypts. Mm-hmm. I always just felt like, if the ceiling could just be a little bit higher and the corridors a little bit bigger, and maybe a little bit bigger places to explore would be really fun. And then, oh my goodness, did you guys do that with the frost caves? Those places are amazing.
Yeah, I think that they turn out to be really cool.
And I was really excited to learn from Smithy that they're also procedurally generated like the worlds, so that they have seeds assigned to themselves too. So you'll never really see the two of the same caves, right? Because you'll never see two of the same worlds because they connect, all the different hallways and rooms and everything. They connect in various ways. So
that's true.
It'll always be a new experience.
Yeah. I mean, some caves can look pretty similar, but overall, you will probably never get the exact same cave ever.
Yeah. It's going to be exciting when it goes public, because I know a lot of people on my server are looking forward to it, and not a lot of them have done the public test branch. They've just heard me raving about it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this has been super exciting. Thank you for sharing all the spoilers about the Mistlands and the Ashlands and the Deep North.
Flying mounts.
And flying mounts and all that good stuff.
Oh boy.
Nah, I'm teasing, of course.
DLCs. No, just
DLCs. Well, there's a new drinking horn that you guys Grimcore made. That'll be exciting. Is that going to be like a DLC release where people like have to do a Steam code? Do you know what the plan is for that yet? Or is it just going to be introduced to the standard game? I'm
99% sure that we'll just have it like a standard item in the game.
Okay. Yeah. Well, because I remember them talking, I think Smithy was talking about, or Grimcore too, about the Steam keys. And you guys had to do thousands of Steam keys for the beta testers just for the Odin stuff. But doing it for 8 million people plus for that horn, Steam keys, it would probably be impossible to manage.
Yeah, probably. No, I don't think it'll be like exclusive to players who only been playing the game for 1 year. It will be an item just as everything else. And people who know what the horn like refers to, they know.
Yeah, little Easter egg.
Yeah, a little bit like that. Yeah.
Like you can say, I was there when.
Yeah.
Well, Rudy, Urkinus, do you guys have any more questions before we let Luma settle in for the night?
I got one more from a member on our server here. Dipstick had a question. Who is the most Viking-like on the team? He said Josephine actually trains swords and such. So, who's the most Viking-like at the Iron Gate team?
Viking-like as in look like a Viking or acts like a Viking?
Yes.
Oh, no.
No, not necessarily look like a Viking, but like who is there somebody there who maybe is just like really, really loves the Viking culture? And I mean, I'm sure everybody has their varying degrees of interest in it, but is there someone who's just like really, really big Viking fan?
I have to give it to Josephine, since she's our Viking, I guess. She's actually fighting like a Viking with swords and all that. Yeah. For sure. And she knows a lot about what they were wearing and all that, like historically correct. So when she sees fantasy stuff or like Viking stuff, like Vikings, the series, for example.
Yeah.
She will call out if there's something that is not historically accurate.
Oh, yeah.
And get mad about it.
Well, I've always thought it funny with Vikings. They are romanticized to have, the horned helmets.
Mm.
And people get upset when some people get upset when they see Vikings with horned helmets. And they say Vikings, they put their hands on their hips and they say Vikings, and they wag their finger at you. Vikings didn't have horns on their helmets. And I just think to myself, yeah, but it's fun. Come on.
It looks cool.
It looks cool. It'd be heavy. It'd probably weight your head down and be awkward, but it looks fun.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in the future.
Yeah. Thanks for having me again. Nice talking to you all.
Thanks, Luma.
Yep, we'll see you in our server.
Yeah, sure.
Well, Luma was a fun interview, don't you guys think?
Fantastic.
I think that's all we have for this week, and we'll have more fun stuff coming up next week. Thank you for joining me, Rudy and Urkinus.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
You still there, Urky? Oh, we might have lost Urky.
You couldn't hear me?
Nope. Were you talking? You're talking the whole time?
No, just the last part.
Well, this is staying in now.
Okay. I moved my laptop, and it probably moved a little bit USB cable, and need to figure it out. Need the new connector.
Okay, well, you sounded good this week. At least you had a little issue with your microphone that first time you used it, didn't you?
Yeah, it was user error, as they say.
Yeah, I kept saying before we started recording, why does Urkinus sound like he's in a tin can? And it's because he had the foam still wrapped around the mic.
I looked at it, and at first I thought, all right, maybe it's like the spit cover, but it already has one, so I don't know why it has like 2 layers, but all right, let it be there. And after the recording, I took the microphone in my hand and started to investigate a little bit further. And the first time, if you remember, I just bought the microphone and I rushed from the shop to get to the recording, and maybe probably didn't really have the time to properly get to know it.
That's okay.
At least I took it out of the box.
Yeah. You took it out of the box, so you got it plugged in. We could hear you even if it sounded odd, but it makes a better story.
Yeah. All right.
Well, you sound great this week, and we will do more in the future, hopefully. So that's it for now, everyone. Have fun out there. Thank you for listening to Podheim, Jiroc's Valheim podcast. We have new episodes coming out every Friday, and if you enjoyed listening, please support us by subscribing to the podcast on your favorite platform and leave us a rating and a review to help more Vikings find us. We also have a Patreon with perks for supporters like behind-the-scenes discussions, exclusive content, and segments that are edited out of the main podcast. And if you'd like to join our friendly Discord community, we have more than 1,000 people there. Just go to discord.gg/Jiroc the Viking. If you'd like to play on my Valheim servers, just go to my website at jiroctheviking.com and submit an application. And thank you to Rudistic the Guardian, Viking Urkinus, and Viking Luma for being a part of this show. I'd like to give a huge shout out to my supporters, some of them on Patreon, the YouTube membership, and the ones who help boost our Discord server. Your support means the world to me and inspires me to make more videos, as well as run a community Discord and multiple Valheim gaming servers. If you enjoy my videos and would like to support my work, join our friendly Discord community and Valheim servers. Links can be found in the description below. Skål!